Hey, welcome back to Steve Reads a Comic. What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Bobby?
Hey, peace,
So, if
love.
you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that Rob has got the pegboard full of tools background.
That is
He's in the garage, which is something we've been wanting him to do because he can smoke now, and
that's
it makes
yeah.
for an altogether more pleasant Rob when he can have his
That's not a
cigarettes.
fake background. That is real.
That's
Those are
legit.
real tools.
It's a real
Those are
pokey.
those are tools I never use. All my tools are in so I can take with me. Actually,
That's
So,
if you need to borrow a tool, ask Rob.
that is true.
all
Steve,
right. So, what's new? What's new, gentlemen?
Steve asked me a question about hot water pipes today. I just assumed it was an obvious answer, but
Oh man,
he
no,
was like, "Only cold water pipes go underground, right?" I was like, "No."
no. I was saying I thought only my buddy had a hot water problem at his house. He was stepping on the floor, and certain parts of his floor like really hot. So like they knew it was a leak in the floor somewhere going to the slab, and
Was their meter running?
I don't know. They
Well,
just
that
said
would be a big
they
input.
could feel the hot on the floor, and they were talking about digging up the slab or rerunning hot water line hot water lines, and I was like, damn, I didn't even know they had supply lines in the slab that were hot water. I just thought it was always cold water. I thought they ran lines from the hot water tank to different areas in the house. I didn't know they actually ran hot water lines in the slab. I was like,
All right,
that
I'm
fucking
gonna cut you
sucks.
off there because all our viewers all our listeners are gone now because
so so
this is the most
anyway,
old man conversation
so
I've ever heard
anyway,
in my life.
I said, Rob, I was telling my buddy, I better call my brother because
No, you
I
can't
don't know
salvage
what the
this
hell.
story. Are strippers coming? Because there's nowhere the story can go that's exciting. I promise you.
After that, yes, what we're getting to is I called my brother because I didn't know what I was doing, even though I worked with him for
Remember, he
4 years.
worked with me for like 3 or 4 years.
It was a
Oh, I'm not
while.
surprised.
I just thought it was I just figured like water pipes, hot, cold, doesn't matter. They're either in the attic, in a slab, or in a crawl space. That's it. I mean, they run together. So I mean,
Makes sense.
Yeah,
they
but
come
they can
out
be
the
more
same.
than one space, is what I'm saying. They could be
One donut.
They
That is
don't have
true.
to all be in the slab.
But if you're running the
Oh
cold
my
line
god.
to the other side of the house and you dug a hole, you might as well run the hot with it.
All right. Should we restart the podcast?
No,
These first
hell
minutes
no.
are crucial, guys. These are crucial to maintaining listenership here.
You don't think people want to hear about hot water pipes?
No,
It
I
was
think
more
everybody's
of
sitting
how-
here going like, "Yeah, pipes go anywhere, dipshit." I think that's what
Yeah,
everybody is saying in unison.
That's
No.
where I was going.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know they were not. I didn't know they were in the slab
That
always. That's yeah. Look at Robbie fired up a cigarette.
That is not a story worth sharing. I'll just put that. That's not an anecdote worth sharing, even.
It's better than some of the stories I've told in past episodes.
Okay, but we're not going to go by a low bar here. We want to be better.
So what'd
than
you
that.
do this week, Sean?
A motherfucker
What
acts
I
like
do
we
this
always
week?
talk about relevant shit. God, we're
I
talking
know.
about politics last episode. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Politics are much more interesting and relevant, whether you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Water pipe locations. Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
Hey, everybody's interested in different things.
Man,
that's right.
I wish a listener would tweet Steve and say, "Hey, man, I learned something today."
I learned something today. Steve's dumber than I thought.
That would be our first tweet. Was from that
That would
stupid
be-
conversation we just had.
I get
That
people.
would be
I get
awesome.
people tweet me all the time, just instant message or private message, not on the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my buddies texted me. He said Ant-Man and the Wasp, Kang the Conqueror is not dead.
Well, which one?
He just got shrunk there at the end. I was like, oh, that makes sense because I was like, they can't kill Kang the Conqueror because we're all assuming that was Kang.
Well, they can now that his actor is under arrest for assaulting a woman. So,
What? I didn't know that. What happened? No way.
Yeah.
You must have been
like
just
a week
been busy
ago.
with your water pipes.
I was. Holy
It's actually
shit!
old news. It was like 2 weeks ago. He got charged with assault against his girlfriend or whatever.
Oh my gosh!
In Manhattan.
So Kang might be dead for altogether different reasons. That, and he's a really incredibly boring villain. They took him and made him really boring.
Have you
so
watched
good job,
it yet?
Marvel.
Did
No,
you watch
because it looks boring.
How do you
Boring.
respond? You can't comment on it.
Dude, here's the thing.
You can speculate.
If the marketing
You may
comes
be
out
right.
and the
I don't
marketing
care.
sucks,
That's not the
no,
point.
it does. The marketing matters. If the marketing sucks, that's not on me to find out if it gets better, because I've done that. I went and saw Ghostbusters 2016 thinking, oh, the trailer might be lame and they're just saving all the good stuff. That was the best shit in that trailer. That was the best marketing they had for that movie. So if they're marketing a movie and they can't grab my interest, again, the onus is not on me to follow up with that. That's on them to make a compelling movie and then to make compelling advertising that drives me to go to the movie theater.
Well, he better hurry up and settle that whatever suit he's got against him, because they set him up to be the bad guy for
every film.
Every film coming up.
So boring.
He's in Loki.
Hey, the Flash kid is they're still releasing that movie, and that guy was in hot water.
Hey, speaking of trailer, did anybody see the Blue Beetle trailer?
Hell yeah, I watched that shit.
It looks pretty good.
It looks underneath hot water line.
Right.
I have a Blue Beetle trailer.
It looks kind of like the comic we read. You know, he's got his family that he's tight with. He gets the suit. You know, I was like, wow.
Look at you, and you're on board, and you're not on board from a cartoon. You're on board from a comic.
Yeah, no,
Look
seriously,
at that.
because I didn't know. I knew his gang that he hung out with from the cartoons, but it changes in different cartoons and different.
So I love that actor, Sholo Madruena. I
nailed it.
Butchering her name, but he's like one of the main protagonists on the Cobra Kai series. Plays Miguel, and he's great. Like he looks
all grown up from the season I watched.
Well, dude, you could watch him. Well, if you watch Cobra Kai, even going from season 1 to season 5, he's grown.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far.
So he's a great actor. He can get you on his side very easily. He's very easy to sympathize with, and he's just likable, relatable, and he's when they announced him as Jaime Reyes, I was very excited because I really liked him from Cobra Kai, and this trailer looks good. It looks like your typical. I mean, you could say, oh, it's Spider-Man, whatever. And that is a lot of superhero origin movies, but there's a different angle. He's very tight with his family. It's not necessarily a revenge angle or the Spider-Man responsibility thing. But the suit looks great.
Sweet is the suit. Oh my gosh.
And the suit matters. The suit matters. And it looks fantastic.
Oh, the suit looks so good.
So the funny thing is, we hear all this DC crap, but I haven't heard anything about that. Like, is that going to continue? Is he going to be part of it?
James Gunn said when James Gunn came out and made his announcement, he basically said Shazam, Flash, Blue Beetle, and maybe even Aquaman will tie into his universe somehow.
Okay.
I'm going by memory here. I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically he made it sound like the upcoming slate of movies, not necessarily that they'll tie in, but basically they won't have a negative impact. You know what I mean? Like it won't be anything that'll impact his new.
He probably read the scripts, the ones he likes. He's like, it won't. We won't get rid of it.
What's sad is Aquaman 3 is going to do $1 gazillion, and Blue Beetle probably won't do anything, and that'll be the best one because nobody knows about his character, and plus he's a minority, so all the Nazis won't go. So
they'll still go. They're full of shit. I don't look how big Black Panther was. Like even the racists are going. They just talk a lot of shit online. They're spineless and hypocritical. The Aquaman 2 got pushed forward by like 5 days to December 20th. And I've realized, I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, but movies that come out at Christmas time do gangbusters, man. I always think of like summer as the big blockbuster time, and you do get more. But when you look at The Force Awakens, they moved, all the Star Wars movies used to come out in May, and Force Awakens was the first one to come out in December, and it's the biggest domestic movie of all time. I don't even think
I looked at the slate of summer movies. There's not shit.
Yeah.
Really?
So Aquaman coming out at Christmas time and doing so well, I think just the time it came out helped it a lot, because a lot of people are going to the theater at Christmas break, whereas in the summertime you have a lot more outdoor options across the country, and in December you don't. So you got more people going to the theater, is my guess as to why. And same with like Avatar. I think both Avatar movies came out in December or around Christmas time. And there's other movies too. I don't remember when like Lord of the Rings and stuff came out. The Harry Potter movies, I believe, came out at Christmas time as well.
Yeah, I think those
Some
are
of them, not all of them.
November, I think.
Okay. I don't, yeah, I could be messing up about the Harry Potter. I know I saw one Harry Potter, and it was definitely summertime when we went to the theater. So I could be wrong about that. But December seems to be a really good time to release a movie. A big Spider-Man No Way Home, Christmas time, gangbusters. Biggest movie of the year came out, with 2 weeks left in the year. So
I just said November. I have no idea. I don't even know.
No, you might be right. I
say
either.
Things like I know they're true. I should probably look at that before I just open my mouth.
Well, I'm guessing too, though.
It just felt like it did. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, Aquaman, who knows, probably will do well. I'm curious about this Flash movie. Dude, they're really ramping up the Guardians ads. I will go see that in the theater, even if nobody will go with me. I think Logan might go with me. But I will go see Guardians because I'm all in on that.
Dude,
I probably won't go opening weekend, though.
Michael Keaton in the bat suit. He looks the same. Good Lord.
Yeah, I got to see that. I got to see the
wonder
Flash.
if they de-aged him or something. Man.
Aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about seeing a Marvel movie when you miss the last two and you won't get all the tie-ins?
Not at all. Nope, not at all. I don't think there's anything relevant there.
We told you all the relevant things.
That's kind of been one of the good things about the Marvel movies, period, is you don't have to see the last one necessarily to follow. Maybe with the Avengers movies, it helps to have some lead-in content, but you can go see Winter Soldier without having seen First Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
It helps. It can make it a more enjoyable experience, but they've done a pretty good job of keeping everything standalone and, making it so you don't have to know 5 movies worth of shit to enjoy the current movie.
You posted that article on our Facebook page about Chris Evans saying, not now is the time to come back as Captain America. I was like,
he might. He said he's interested.
I was like, yeah, at least let Sam be Captain America for a minute.
Well, that's the thing, too. There's no reason you can't have more than one when it comes to Captain America. And there's all his adventures that he had in that alternate timeline that they could tell where, Sam's not even involved because he was
it would be nice
in a different
to have
timeline.
A true standalone movie, that's not tied in.
Right.
Like you said, everything doesn't have to tie in all the time.
And those tend to be my favorites.
Yeah.
When I think of the Spider-Man universe, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe, I liked the idea of him being the only superhero that, it was an obscure, rare thing to have a superhero. Whereas with the Marvel universe now, it's everybody's a goddamn superhero.
Oh, now we got aliens and all kinds of crap.
Dude, I like that too. But I like the idea what James Gunn is talking about with doing the Elseworlds continuity, where they could tell different stories that aren't connected to the current continuity. I think that's great. I think Marvel should be doing that, and not just in a what if format either. They could literally just title it What If, or I think What If is kind of dumb. I know that's from the comics, and I grew up with that, but there's a better way to put that, alternate universe. Just have a different Captain America story, have a different Spider-Man story, whatever. What other? There's another trailer that came out this week. Spider-Man Spider-Verse trailer. Anybody watch that?
Oh shit! That's how I didn't see it.
How was it? That looks great. They have Scarlet Spider in there for a brief second, which is a '90s Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, the Spider-Man, Peter Parker clone, and I got stupidly excited about seeing that. So yeah, it looks great. It looks great. I'll be going to see that. Miles Morales, obviously not my favorite. They got Peter Parker Spider-Man running around with a fucking baby Bjorn the whole time. I'm like, God damn it. And no mask. I'm like, fuck, that's not what I want to see. Like, put the goddamn mask on.
Maybe it's only Bjorn. Maybe it's just for a little bit of time.
Oh God. Hate that shit. I know it's supposed to be for laughs or whatever. I'm like, fuck off. Give me my Spidey Man. Spider-Man.
I started watching Yellow Jackets. You guys watch that?
I haven't seen the second season yet.
Oh, okay. The end of the second episode is so fucked up, man. You're gonna love it.
I got to get back to that because I fucking love that first season. It was great.
It continues straight on with the creepy vibe, and it doesn't stop.
What's it on?
I love Showtime.
I don't have Showtime. How do you have Showtime?
I get Showtime through Paramount Plus. It's like an add-on. Yeah,
I'll give you my login.
Okay, you got it too. I was like, I can give him mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that show continues to creep me out every episode. I love it. It's fucking so fucked up. And the intro song is fucked up too, and I like that.
All right. What else did I have on here? Oh, the Shazam box office is bad. I don't really have a lot of commentary there.
Oh, is it bad? How bad is it? It's bad.
I don't know how bad it is. Last I looked, though, it was not doing well.
Was it worse than that? What was that Lord of the Rings you sent me? Like only 37% of people finished.
Well, let's put that in perspective. So I sent an article to Steve and Rob the other day about basically it's about Amazon Prime and how they're just kind of fucking up as far as their original programming goes, spending a lot of money for very little in return. And of course, the most they've spent is on Lord of the Rings. This first season was over $400 million for a season of television.
Why was it so much?
I don't know, but it's ridiculous.
Rights, maybe the rights pay into it.
The special effects, I'm sure, they were top notch.
Were they though?
Yeah.
Then they said, said only 37% of people who watched like the first episode finished the entire series, and so I had to look into that a little more. I'm like, is that a lot? Is that a little? What's the usual? Is that a high number?
Yeah.
So it turns out 50%. If 50% of people finish a series, then that's like solid. That's like mediocre. It's below average, basically 37%. You want a higher number than 50% to finish your series. However, they did have exorbitantly high viewership numbers, like something over 100 million people watched the first episode, which is pretty crazy. So to put that all in perspective, it's like, okay, so, if 30 million people watched it, is that bad? Is that good? I don't know. Because again, I don't know how they determine the return on these streaming shows. Do they see a spike in subscriptions when a show starts, and that's how they're like, oh, we had a 20% spike when Lord of the Rings started, and then do they start losing people? I don't know. They don't reveal any of that.
Yeah, do they see a decrease in the amount of people that quit their platform as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Like after 2 episodes, or some people just canceled after the first month.
Like Sean, he's like, I've had enough. Cancel.
Well, no, I'm in Amazon's pocket. I'll probably never quit Amazon Prime. There's just too many conveniences that come along with it. But
when you think about
the show,
when you do think about it, like I think of all the shows I start, like I don't finish. Only the ones I really like, but I start a lot of shows and I don't finish them. I don't know about you guys.
So Last of Us, from what I saw, the viewership went up almost every week. Like not like huge numbers, not like
that's
double or
Steve
triple.
was pushing it, man.
That's our podcast, baby.
So I think they were averaging something like 8 million views on the first night or something, and it was, or maybe it started at like 7 and crept up to 8, but they had really strong retention with viewers on that show. So I think that's ideal, obviously, to have people wait week after week and continue to watch every single episode. And it shows you that Lord of the Rings just did not land with most people who watched it. And you can tell too, this is my gauge for success now. It's really dumb, but the way I gauge if something's successful is if there's memes of it. If I don't see memes of something, I just assume that no one liked it, no one watched it, it's not worth it. So if I start seeing memes pop up, that probably grabs me more than advertising.
Yeah, that's a pretty good barometer.
Yeah, like with Endgame, I mean, there's still Endgame memes. But
where do you go to get memes?
That's called
They just
social
show
media,
up.
Rob.
Yeah. Instagram is good. Twitter is okay. Facebook, it
So
just depends on who
you
you're
just
following.
copy them from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do
You're
they
just usually
originate? Like from people?
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I told Maggie I had an idea for a documentary. Like, I want to follow the people who create these memes.
The best
And
memes.
the
Yeah.
ones that go viral, not every meme, but just, the ones that get real big and are used over and over for years and years. Not the best idea for a documentary, but it's more my curiosity. Like, why don't you watermark these images so people know who made this shit, kind of thing? Because you just make a meme, you put it out there, and for all you know, 2 years later, it could blow the fuck up. You're like, I made that fucking meme.
I should
Like,
be
you don't
I
know.
should be getting paid for this.
I made
Right.
this.
I got a buddy on Facebook. His name's Mike, and he just he just goes around and finds all these memes and then posts them all the time. And it's
nice.
It's the best part of my day. I swear.
Maggie sends me a lot. I get a lot of stuff from her that I share with other people. I've created a handful of memes. None of them have gone viral, unfortunately, but I've found a lot of them to be very funny. Maggie created one of my favorite memes, which is I don't know if Rob has seen it.
The Lint one.
But yeah, it's
yeah, that's
you
good.
know the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, Rob, with the American version with Drew Carey, and like in the show, he always introduced the show and said, "Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway, where everything's made up and the points don't matter," or something like that. It was like the intro of the show. So she made a meme 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it's just a picture of Drew Carey sitting there doing the intro, but instead of that, it says "Welcome to Lent," where the Bible's made up and nothing matters, or eternal life isn't real. I forget what it is exactly, but it just hits. It's perfect though.
I don't think your description gave it justice.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
No, it didn't. It did not, because my memory's terrible.
Post the meme to the Facebook page.
It's late now. You got to post it on the first day of Lent.
Did you post it this? Did you post it this year?
I think I put it in an Instagram story. I don't think I did my usual. Let me go find it though.
Now, that's a good job, just creating memes. That'd be fun.
Just do that. Nobody's paying for that though, because it's all free.
I know, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. You should get paid for that. That's your, creativity.
She asked me to send it to her the other day because she wanted to share it with somebody, and she doesn't have it anymore, like saved on her phone. But here we go. Welcome to Lent, where the Bible's made up and your empty sacrifice doesn't matter. So, like, how great is that?
I like
it's so true, because like I see all these posts from people, especially these fucking. Well, it's a Catholic holiday, and Catholicism is just one of the dumbest religions, because basically it's like, hey, I shot up an orphanage. How many Hail Marys? Cool. It's like, it's so stupid. It's such a populist fucking religion. It makes no goddamn sense. And you always see people like, well, I'm giving up meat. I'm giving up social media. It's like, why? You're not a good person outside of this. What does it matter? Like, you go 40 days without Instagram. You think that's going to seal the deal for you?
Yeah, I like the one picture. It's like, I'm not eating red meat tonight, but like, they're eating everything else,
Right.
Like it's like a smorgasbord of all really good.
It's like food. Something out of fucking Caligula. And then they're like, look at me sacrificing over here. It's like, okay, shut the fuck up. It's so dumb. It's just so dumb.
Just be a better person.
Right.
Today's Passover for all the Jewish people out there.
Today's Passover, and sometimes listener Keith's birthday. Shout out to Keith.
Happy birthday, Keith.
I asked Keith a question today.
Old ass Keith.
I'm gonna pose this question to you guys. So I don't know if you guys have seen this down there, but up here I have seen a significant number of replica vehicles like on the road, based on Jurassic Park, the Jeep Wrangler, and I've seen one Ford Explorer type vehicle with that, the green and yellow, like when they get attacked by the T-Rex. You've
seen it on the road driving around?
I've seen them on the road. I've seen multiple Wranglers with the the red and gray or brown, whatever it is. I've seen multiple Wranglers, especially when I was doing pest control, in different places too, not like always going to the same place. I've seen quite a few Wranglers done up perfectly too. They look fantastic with the logo on the door and everything, and the color scheme, the paint scheme. And I've seen one, and I don't know if it was actually a Ford Explorer. It might have been a newer vehicle, just that kind of generic shape. But it had that stuff on it, and yeah, roadworthy vehicles. And I posed the question to Keith: did he think that the vehicle design was so good that people want to emulate it, or is it mostly because the movie is so iconic, or maybe a combination of both?
B.
So, and what was B? I already forgot.
It's so iconic.
You think the design stands out and is significant? The prop designers did such a great job, production designers. Yeah. And I think it's honestly C, little column A, little column B, where, you know, the movie was culturally significant, pop culturally significant anyway. And so those designs stand out. But I agree, though, too. They are good designs, though. They're not garish. Well, I mean, the Explorer's a little garish, but the Jeep isn't. I feel like you could get away with that Jeep design forever.
I feel like all those people live in Ohio because I ain't never seen no footy with a Jurassic Park Jeep down here.
It's probably because it burst into flames at some point.
Right, so. It was driving, and then it blew up. Dude, my buddy saw a burned body. The car had exploded, and there was like a body in it. It was right like 2 exits before our work. I was like, oh, that's great. Welcome to
Memphis.
Welcome to Memphis. So
that's upsetting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've never seen I keep waiting to see like a Firefly vehicle. Nope. I see them on the fan page, you know, stickers and stuff, but that'd be cool to see one of those Jeeps, man. That'd be awesome. Yeah. And then I'd immediately get away from it because nothing good happens to that Ford Explorer.
Is that Dennis Nedry? Wayne Knight. All right, so that was my stupid question of the day that just kind of made me think about that.
Dude, I need to ask you something, and I know this is a sore spot with you, but I keep seeing fucking something is coming in the Snyderverse. Something is coming. Keep waiting. It's like nothing's happening. They're just like doing some re-release of his movie or something like that. Have you heard anything else? Or,
I saw something, I want to say a few weeks ago.
Maybe there's something with Green Lantern in it or something. Some extra footage. I don't know.
I think Zack Snyder tweeted something out. And again, I don't remember. It wasn't particularly significant. But I think he himself is the one kind of leading these people on. And maybe and people are speculating he might be doing an Elseworlds tale, which is possible. Mm-hmm. Why not? If it can make money, if he can, I think Zack Snyder could do better if they gave him less money. Either giving him too much money and he's thrown, because I liked 300.
Mm-hmm. We all did.
The more money you give the guy, the more slow motion and stupid shit he's going to put. But I think if you get him on a tighter leash, he could put out some entertaining stuff.
Okay, so you think
not every moment of all his movies is bad. There are moments in Man of Steel I enjoy. There are moments in Batman versus Superman I enjoy. The bulk of his stuff is terrible. But about 25% of it, I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. Batman action scene is probably one of my favorite Batman fight scenes of all time.
Oh, yeah.
In Batman,
when he slams Superman, that guy into the ground, like by his neck.
When he comes up through the floor
and
just beats the shit out of everyone. And you can see everything that's happening, too. You know, it's not like the zoomed in tight camera. So I don't want to give total disrespect to the guy because he has put out stuff I enjoy. I just think he makes some really terrible story choices, and his idea of drama is very juvenile.
So you think he's just trying to drum up some, you know?
I'm not. It's not even on my radar, to be honest. Something comes out, I will check it out if it looks cool.
I just feel I feel like you. It's like he's trying to get these people, you know, behind him, and I'm like,
it's very
kind of cruel
kind of move,
yeah,
right?
It's really cruel, man, because I don't think it's going anywhere, especially now with James Gunn in there and everything. But
again, James Gunn is a very.
But they're talking about Netflix and all that. They're doing something. Maybe they can do something.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why they keep talking about Netflix when they have HBO Go. And I know the Discovery deal and all that stuff, but James Gunn is a very diplomatic person. And honestly, he doesn't hate on anything. And I think if Zack Snyder came in and wanted to pitch to him, James Gunn would seriously consider anything he pitched. And if he thought it was good, he'd give him a shot. And if he didn't, he wouldn't. And I think it's that simple. It's up to James Gunn and the other guy. And again, I don't.
The other guy, nobody
I can't
remembers his name.
I don't. Yeah, who is it? He's a
I
producer. Nobody
forget
fucking
too.
knows.
I know
Like,
I know his name. James Gunn. That's
Yeah.
an easy one to remember.
James Gunn, and he's the other guy's Danny DeVito, basically.
And my other favorite DC guy, Bruce Timm. Those are names to
Right,
remember.
Bruce Timm.
I can actually remember.
I just feel like I feel like his followers, the Snyderverse crowd, like they really think this is going to happen. Like when I signed petitions for Rad on 4K, you know, I signed it, but I didn't think it was going to happen. I was surprised when it did, but like I wasn't going to be let down if it did. You know?
Right. You weren't a true believer. You weren't going to go march on the Capitol.
Right, exactly. But I feel like these Snyderverse fans are really going to be let down if something doesn't happen. I think there's a lot of,
just judging from their behavior, there's a lot of overlap. Like if you did the Venn diagram of like Trump supporters and Snyderverse people, it'd be almost a circle because they're very, they're what's the term for like when they're like zealots. They're, you know what I mean? There's zealotry in their behavior and not a lot of thought necessarily. They get behind, they're very passionate. But again, it's like you got to temper that with some reason, some logic, some education, some insight. You know, there's a lot of stuff I want to see happen. I just saw that the rights, Capcom has sold the rights or licensed the rights of Street Fighter to Legendary Pictures.
Oh, that's what I want to talk to you about. So this is happening, huh?
Yeah, and there's a live action movie in the works, and I'm like excited, and I'm also like, please don't fuck this up. Please, there's no reason to fuck this up nowadays. Don't shove every single Street Fighter into one movie. We don't need 39 characters in the movie. Just, you know, focus on Ryu, focus on Guile, focus on Chun-Li. You know, pick like 3 to 5 characters. Pick 3 characters at most to truly focus on. If you want to do the Marvel thing and have, you know, E Honda show up on a TV screen in the background or something, you know what I mean? Names mentioned, but just get the story closed in.
I thought they did that with the Chun-Li movie. I thought they focused on a few characters.
I own the Chun-Li movie. I have never watched it. It has never entered my Blu-ray player. I have it. I've had it for years. I don't even know.
Street Fighter? Wasn't that the one with
the girl from Smallville?
Yeah.
Kristen Kruk, I think.
Oh, well, what was the one with oh shit. I can picture
the Van Damme?
Yeah, which one was that?
Yeah, that's the one I'm worried about. So that was like the big budget. That came out when Street Fighter was
played
huge.
The boss? Wasn't it
Raul Julia?
Oh, Raul Julia.
That was his final role.
That's
For you? What is he delivers that great line.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, when Chun-Li's telling him how he killed her dad. He's got this long monologue. He's like, for you, it was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. He's like, I don't even remember. Fucking great stuff. But yeah,
wait a minute. You just said fucking great stuff. It lives on in it.
Dude, no, that delivery, that line and that delivery.
Oh, that was it.
How Julia
that was the only
brought
thing.
it. Well, I can look back on it now and enjoy how just insane that movie is. At the time, and I don't know if you remember, because you know I was Street Fighter fans. You know, speaking of zealots, I was a Street Fighter zealot. I was on the corners preaching about Street Fighter. They announced this movie, and immediately I remember, and like you like looked to me like it was my fault that this movie looked terrible, and I was like, it's not me. I swear the property is better than this. I don't understand what they're doing.
What was your reaction?
The trailer looked terrible. But
yeah,
until
you saw executive producer Sean Isley.
I'd executive produce a flaming turd, dude. If I could get paid for it, no scruples there.
I think when Sean finally gave up is when he saw Blanca. that was probably
so much better. Just the portrayal of Ryu and Ken is like these weird, like fucking street urchin, con artists or something. I'm like, what is happening? And then Guile as the all-American, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm Guile. I'm from America. Like,
ciao.
I mean, that was super common. Like you always had Sylvester Stallone playing these super American people. So it was a silly trope, but it was just like, he was the biggest star at the time, or one of the big stars at the time, and probably fit the budget. I read an article with Stephen E. D'Souza, who has written and worked on tons of action movies, and none of them come to mind right now. Maybe the Die Hards and stuff like that. His role in writing that was basically he was brought in to write the movie, and he starts writing the movie, and then Capcom, who I think they maintained some sort of creative control, they insisted that like all the characters show up in this movie. Basically, it was their insistence, according to this guy anyway. This account is they were like, oh no, we got to have Dawson, we got to have Blanca, we got to have Bison, we got to have Balrog, we got to get everybody. And he was just like, oh, and he was paid to write the script, so he took the money and wrote the fucking script. Yeah. I don't fault him for that. He's honest about that. He doesn't claim it to be anything super great, but basically is one of those too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. And a lot of the cooks, it was their first time in the kitchen, so we ended up with that mess of a movie. Basically,
he sure did.
It was also early video game movies too.
He got everybody.
Back then, they had like 16 characters at that point or something, 12 or 16. So it wasn't even as many as they have now, thankfully.
Yeah, Cammy was even in that.
The Super Street Fighter characters were in it. I don't remember if Fei Long made it in. Maybe he was Fei Long, and I think T-Hawk might have even been in it. But yeah, it's one of those things where you as a fan, and video games weren't as big as they are now. Back then it was still a lot more niche industry and hobby.
So was it because of your age is why you were a zealot? You just grew out of it?
Well, no, I mean, I just loved it. I mean, yeah, age did. Yeah, age had something to do with it. But I still love Street Fighter. I'm still very passionate about the
right. But are you going out? Are you hitting the streets to promote this next one?
Well, no. I mean, I didn't literally promote, but I was always trying to get you to buy it or play it, and anybody who was into video games remotely, I was always trying to get them to play it and get into it. Yeah. And I just had the one friend who was exponentially better than me and just beat my ass. I think maybe mostly I was just trying to get people to play it so I could beat somebody. Was actually my motivation, was just like, hey, if you play, I can win until you get good. Which, like, if you would have taken 2 weeks to play that game, you'd have been better than me. I've never been good at Street Fighter. I don't have the patience that game requires.
He's being very modest, Rob.
Right, no, I'm not. You have had very little exposure to good player. Like Logan kicks my ass already. Like, and I'm talking, he kicks my ass like decidedly most of the time. Probably at least 75% of the time he kicks my ass now. And I told him, because he felt like you at one point where he's just like, I'm never going to beat you. I'm never going to beat you. I'm like, you'll beat me one day.
Well, when you don't tell people about the zoom in, Jesus.
There's no zooming in Street Fighter. It's not a first-person shooter.
Played that damn game for
Rob learned about Battlefront.
I was confused when
4
he
years
said
after
that.
the fact.
I was like, "There's a zoom in? What?"
No, the Battlefront thing. He's like, you could zoom in. It's like, we played this game for 4 years, and you just learned how to target people. Fuck.
Rob was shooting from the hip every time.
Every time.
And I would beat you guys sometimes. That's what's sad.
He beat me a lot of times.
He's still.
Now you did have a chain gun most of the time, so that helps.
Yeah, you can't. Not too much zoom in with that. If there is any zoom on that.
Yeah, sniper wasn't my strong. I was like, damn, this sniper sucks.
Yeah, so Street Fighter live action movie. There's no reason that they can't make a decent movie here. But we'll see. The last Mortal Kombat movie I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was kind of, other than the fact that they created a brand new character for the movie, which I didn't understand considering they have such a huge roster of characters. They could have picked any one of those. Other than that, I found the movie enjoyable. They focused on a relatively small group of fighters, and which was essential instead of trying to incorporate the whole cast. They had solid choreography. Not the best, but solid. And it was the effects look good. It was an enjoyable movie considering the source material. I thought they were respectful to the source material. They told an enjoyable story, had relatable, enjoyable characters, and had cool over the top kung fu fights with lots of blood and gore, which is what Mortal Kombat is.
Speaking of kung fu moves and everything, did you like that move with Blue Beetle when he did the sword and drug it across the ground?
Oh, yeah.
Flipped it up. That was an homage to all those kung fu movies. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Blue Beetle. All right.
I'll be
When's that
seeing
What
come
that.
else?
out, Steve? November?
I don't know, but we're going. Like, I'm picking you up.
I'll go see Shazam. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I still don't want to see that.
Shazam will probably hit HBO Go in like a week.
I think
wouldn't be
it's I think
surprised.
it's already there.
Right?
You guys watch Mando? Today's Mando?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
All right. I got some mixed feelings about this one. How
Yeah,
about
me
you guys?
too.
Go
I
ahead.
liked it, but I didn't like it.
I like the
Let's
end.
hear it.
Well,
All right. Again, full
Okay.
spoilers, people. April 5th, 2023. Full spoilers. Mandalorian, episode 22, I believe.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you had some special guests on this one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lizzo, Doc, and
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
and Jack Black.
Yeah.
And,
Christopher Lloyd, he looks like he's 120 years old. I thought he was 90 in Back to the Future. Now he's 120.
Yeah, he looked good though.
I don't know about
He
that.
looked good. I thought he looked good, dude. He's 100. I mean,
I
thought
love
he
Christopher Lloyd. He was
still
also
acting.
in Nobody. Do you
He
remember
was the best
Nobody?
actor in that episode, besides the droids. I know Sean loved the droids part of the whole thing. They're making the droids out, like they're human or something,
Well, that was T2 or Terminator reminiscent to me when it was running through. I was like, I like this. I dug that part.
Yeah.
I like seeing a super battle droid on a medical examiner slab there. Just pulled it out. That was
let's discuss.
I'm not
basically
done.
this was another side quest
right.
episode.
Hey, Rob said he wasn't done.
Oh, well, I just wanted to give the listener the premise for the episode first, and then I will
butt in.
We're going to talk about hot water pipes.
No, we're going to talk just the premise for this. This was a side quest episode for most of it, where I don't even what was the motivation for them to be back on that planet? That's where
to get more
the Mandalorians were.
Yeah,
right.
That's where
they end up
her whole crew was
talking to some senators, diplomats, kings, whatever the hell they were, and sent on this side quest to go after these faulty droids for the majority of the episode. So that's the premise. Jack Black and Lizzo played the
king and queen or something.
Yeah,
Majesty.
So Rob, go from there.
I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the droid. I never seen one of those battle bots run like that.
Super,
usually it's
droid.
Like real stiff.
It's very stiff.
I was like, damn, that guy's moving. I was like, that ain't fucking Clone Wars. But yeah, I mean the guest star, it just seemed like.
But that super battle droid had a mixture of nanobots in him, so he's loose.
But once we got to the end and we had the Mandalorian fight, I was like, okay, now that's cool.
Yeah.
And then she got the sword.
Wait a minute. This episode started off with the funniest fucking tragic love scene with the calamari.
God, I forgot about that. Oh my god!
It's like,
that's when you knew it was going to be bad. I was like, "What is this, Romeo and Juliet? What the hell's going on here?"
It was fine, but I just couldn't get into it because they look so fucking stupid. So
I liked how the one was in. I thought it was cool. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be cool." The fish lady, the calamari, was in water. And it was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." They got to take a little dip every once in a while, and then it just went off the rails from there. It was just like, oh man, but I love you.
He was like, our love cannot be torn away. And she was like, let me tear it right now. Get on that ship.
Yeah. I had no issue with that scene. I felt like that was more to just establish the fact that the Mandalorians, they'd broken off and they were mercenaries, but they hadn't gone like evil or bad or anything like that.
You could have left it there, though. He didn't have to go. Jeez.
And so it was cheesy. And then they get to the planet, though. But by they, I mean Mando and Bo-Katan get to the planet. And we get pulled into, and my friend had the best description, which was you get pulled into this scene that looks like great value Star Trek, where there's just all these aliens eating this big dinner. It was very Star Trek. It was very low budget looking.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of
Biodome with
The Last
Pauly
Jedi when they went to the casino. They're trying to like bring that into
Cantabite.
Yeah, whatever that. Yeah,
and I think it seems out of place because we're always used to seeing the dirtier, darker
the westerny part of
Yeah, but
Mando.
I mean, there has to be an upper class.
Yeah.
So who's to say that's not what it looks like?
Yeah.
And there's always going to be an upper class. And then they go with stunt casting though. Jack Black's fine, Christopher Lloyd's fine, and then they put Lizzo in there, who's not an actor, and she's fucking horrible, and she's just taking me out of the show completely. Like Jack Black is also over the top.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be this flamboyant character. She's bad because she just can't fucking act. She's acting at Saturday Night Live levels.
Well, it looked like she was reading off the teleprompter.
Yeah,
and it
monotone. Was so fucking bad and stupid and pointless. And it was supposed to be silly and funny, and it just didn't land. So anyway, they go on this quest to figure out.
Wait a minute. First of all, they go on the quest and they just leave Grogu with these strangers. I'm like, why? Right. Where the fuck is Grogu? They just gonna leave. You just met these people. You're leaving the kid with them.
Mando is so protective of this kid normally,
right?
And he's just like, "Oh, you'll be fine." It's like the whole galaxy was searching for this kid 20 minutes ago, and he's like, "Here you go, Jack Black and Lizzo. You can have Grogu."
And there's rogue droids all over the place, allegedly.
Right.
And he just believes everything these crazy, insane, upper class people,
eccentric motherfuckers.
Yeah. So they go on the quest, leaving Grogu to these weirdos. And I thought the episode was fun though. Like I liked the whole droid thing. I don't know why. It was a fun, light episode.
Yeah, I thought you wouldn't like it because you hate droids.
I hate droids? What?
You do.
No, that's Mando.
No, what was it? The clone droids you used to hate, and the rebels. When they do
those shows aren't written as well though. Those shows are the cartoons it's a lower quality writing.
If it came up, what was it? Yellow, not yellow. What was blue? Droids were blue. Like when they show the rebels or the Clone Wars or whatever, it'll always be blue. That episode, Sean would be like, click.
I barely remember those, but I do know what you're talking about. Where if they did an episode that just focused on droid adventures. It was very much directed at little kids. Didn't move the plot forward anyway. Not that this moved the plot forward anyway, but I enjoyed the side story. Very Terminator, very Matrix, and then the end. That again was the best part.
Yeah, that was the best
like
part.
some of a couple of the other episodes where Bo-Katan confronts all those mercenaries. She wants her fleet back, and then Mando explains why the Darksaber is rightfully hers. And because I was always wondering, like, how are they going to fight? They don't seem to be, she doesn't seem to be interested in fighting him. And she didn't take it when she had the opportunity to just keep it.
And I'm surprised at myself that like I didn't see that coming, because he obviously dropped the blade and she picked it up, and everything after he got beat by that thing. And I'm like, man, I should have saw that coming, but I didn't.
It made sense.
Because I was thinking like you, I was like, well, they're really chummy. I don't see them fighting anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're both too noble to just do a behind the scenes like, oh yeah, we had a fight, nobody saw it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's what I would do.
I thought you had
she
to kill
totally
the
best
person.
to be.
I thought you had
Is that what you do have to kill him? Okay.
No, I don't think you did, but for some reason I always thought you had to like
that guy, that Mandalorian dude implied it though. They implied that the other person had to die to take but I don't know if that's true or not, or if they're changing the rules, but it doesn't matter. She's got the Darksaber now, and she's going to unite the man, which is exciting to me. Like I think that's cool to see the Mandalorians get built back up.
A fight with jetpacks, dude. They use the freaking jetpack like you're supposed to use. You got it, use it.
I like I like how she hooked him too when she was on her way down off the wing of the plane.
Oh, and flipped
that was when you used the lasso.
Right.
Break her fall.
You use the lasso in a gunfight.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you use that fucking thing. Yeah, so 2 episodes left of Mando.
Did you like seeing the whatever Queel was? I forget his race. I have spoken. Ugnaughts.
No, I don't care. I never cared about the Ugnaughts. I used to hate them as a kid because I was so mad at them for destroying 3PO. I fucking used to hate the Ugnaughts. And
Wait, when did they destroy 3PO?
Empire Strikes Back.
That was them?
Oh, yeah, shit. Those are the Ugnaughts.
I had no idea. Why are you shaking your head, dude? Like, you guys watch... I told you I watch Return of the Jedi all the time.
That's true.
Star Wars and Empire, I'd watch the least.
Yeah, I don't
You guys will watch that like religion. That wasn't me. I just like Return of the Jedi a lot because I was that age.
Okay, so a big announcement from The Rock. He's doing a live action
Moana. Yeah, I saw that.
And I have to ask you guys this question, and I know Steve's gonna he sucks The Rock's dick every week, so he's gonna jump on this.
As much as I can.
Name a good movie where The Rock is the lead.
That would be
Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys see this movie?
Yeah, I did.
It was Die Hard. It was Die Hard.
It wasn't that good.
It looks horrible. He's got the fake leg.
No, it's not that great.
Right?
What was what was the one with the Rampage?
The video game movie? Jesus Christ.
Wasn't that Rampage with the monkey?
Yeah, it was.
I went and looked because I'm desperately trying to figure out why this man is a superstar.
That wasn't very good either.
His acting has not leveled up since wrestling days. He still doesn't know.
He's got the eyebrow though.
Yeah,
I can't even do it.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to do subtlety. This is the eyebrow. You gotta bring it up.
Like
it's not that hard. I can do it. If I could do it, anybody could do it. Anyway, his movie,
Black Adam,
whatever you want to call it, is awful. Like he's been in some okay movies, but usually not as the star.
Jumanji.
And
actually, Jumanji's probably the best film he's been in.
And again, that's an ensemble cast. That's Jack Black. That's Karen Gillan. That's Kevin Hart.
He's technically the lead.
No, there are 4 leads in that movie. That is an ensemble. That's like saying Guardians of the Galaxy is a Chris Pratt movie. No, it is not.
Yeah. He's the lead, though.
He's not the lead.
He's the lead in the ensemble cast.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to argue because I don't care enough. He's the lead. He could be the lead, but it's an ensemble cast. Kevin Hart arguably being a bigger star. I don't know if that's true or not.
Co-lead in Hobbs and Shaw.
And then you have Jack Black, obviously super mega star. So, but again, Jumanji, not great. It was okay. It was fine. I never even saw the second one they did.
It was good.
I didn't see the second one.
And again, the closest analog I could think is you go back to the 80s. You got like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, big meathead dudes, put out great movies that we are still talking about to this day. They are still sequelizing some of their properties to this day. Is Jumanji one of the only movies that he's gotten a sequel? You know what I mean?
Fast and Furious, like 80,000.
That's not his movie either. That was a Vin Diesel movie.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, man.
That is a Vin Diesel movie.
It started as Vin Diesel, and then it turned into The Rock.
So The Rock is like the main guy now?
Well, yeah, one of the main
guys. There is no main guy.
Well, they had I
thought that was an ensemble thing.
Well, they had a whole spinoff with just him.
No, it was called Hobbs and Shaw. I believe.
Him and
there you go.
Jason Statham.
2 guys.
Okay, whatever. But he's turning into one of the main characters.
Sean's point being that Stallone and Schwarzenegger put out some very good movies.
Memorable roles, memorable performances, which I think is also key. Not saying that they're the best actors in the world, but they had charisma, they had personality.
Why do you guys think I like the Rock movies better than Terminator and Predator?
Nobody thinks
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just know that you like to defend anything I attack, no matter what it is.
Well, that's just
because I could attack Donald Trump and you'd be like, no, he was good at Home Alone too.
Well, that's because I'm the contrarian in this podcast.
But what's the point of that position?
To give other views. I don't hate. It's not like.
But I mean, why
I
don't you?
I don't hate the Rock.
Stuff you're saying. I want to know what you think. I don't want to know what
I'm saying is like you get angry that the Rock is successful, and
no. I get angry that people enjoy that guy, but they can't. Nobody can say why.
I mean, I don't think he's that great of an actor either. I just like dumb action movies.
I don't begrudge anybody their success. He's making money doing a mediocre job at whatever he's doing, and that's amazing. I don't begrudge that. I don't begrudge him anything in that regard, and I have nothing against the guy. Actually, since the Black Adam debacle, I do have something against him. He does seem really arrogant, and when it comes to creative control, and it seems he shockingly makes bad decisions when he has creative control. Because to this day, he doesn't have a Terminator or a Rocky or a Rambo or a True Lies. He doesn't have anything like that.
I don't think he cares when he's swimming in fucking cash like
no,
Scrooge
and it's
McDuck.
not about him caring. No, absolutely not. I'm not trying to get his attention and put him down.
Michael Jordan was an asshole, and he's the best.
I'm trying to understand the fan base that comes out for this guy sometimes. and what they see in the dude, or do they all just WWE holdovers who are like, oh, I liked him when he wrestled, so I still like him. He wrestles. He's real big. He's strong. He's tall. He's strong. Like, is that the reason? I don't get it. Like, I can name a million reasons I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, from his accent to his comedic timing, to the characters he played. Conan, Terminator, all that kind of stuff. He's been in iconic movies, and The Rock has been in a shit ton of fucking movies. Going back, the first one he was in was like The Mummy 3 when I looked it up, I think.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Scorpion King. He was the Scorpion King.
Yeah, and
But
I've never seen the Mummy movie.
It was the Mummy movie, and then he got his own.
I've never seen any of those because they all.
Oh my
awful.
God, the Scorpion King! I totally forgot about that. No,
and I just don't feel like it's one thing to start somewhere, but I feel like everything he's put out is still Scorpion King level. Like
he was definitely the lead in that one.
He is not on the same level as Schwarzenegger or Stallone. Dude, Stallone, Rocky, he wrote that. You know what I mean? I mean, and
he's directed a lot of his movies.
Was awesome, and like,
so wait a minute.
I just watched Creed for the first time, and dude, that was really good. I mean, Stallone is great in that, man. I was like, dude can act.
So wait a minute, is it because? Like you said, like they're none of the people that are great actors, So is it just the roles?
There is greatness in what they do. Maybe they're not technically up there with like Anthony Hopkins or something, but I think Stallone, especially when you watch his range going from Rocky to Rambo to something like Copland, he does have range.
Yeah.
And
out of all three of them, he's probably the most talented.
And Schwarzenegger less range, but Schwarzenegger has great comedic timing. He's naturally funny. Like, he's done quite a few comedies, and he's very good at them. And he's very good at implementing comedy, even in the Terminator movies. When they're very serious.
Anybody watch Oscar?
I saw it years ago. I haven't seen it.
He's great in that.
Time. Yeah,
I know.
And again, Stallone, very creative guy, written a lot of stuff. Brought a lot of stuff to his characters.
You do know humor is subjective, though, right? Because there's a lot of people that find The Rock funny.
No, that's not true.
I'm sorry, it is. I have to break this to you.
I don't think that's true. That doesn't sound right. Let me check my notes. There's nothing here about that.
And that puppet guy, who's the puppet comedian guy? A lot of people like him too.
Oh, Jeff Dunham.
Yeah. So
actually, Dunham, if you watch 30 Rock, he actually had a very funny bit on 30 Rock. So, and again, like I do shit on The Rock a lot because again, I've never understood the dude since Jason introduced me to the guy because he was a big fan of The Rock when I first moved to Memphis, and like that's when WWE was huge, and I wasn't into wrestling at all, and Jason wanted me to see this character and how great he was, and immediately I was just confused. I'm like, okay, so he goes by The Rock, but also he's the Brahma Bull. He's got the people's elbow. But he asked if you could smell what he's cooking. It's just not a coherent, cohesive package. None of it goes together. And then he's got the people's the eyebrow, and that's it. It's like it's five.
Way too much about The Rock. I just learned a bunch.
Well, it's just stuff I remember. This is what I remember about I remember when Jason introduced me to him. And I was probably high at the time, so I was really scrutinizing it.
Is just not like seeing a black man be successful? I mean, is that what it is, Sean? Like, just let's
get black. I thought he was Hawaiian.
Let's get to the core of this.
Motherfucker, Simone. What are you gonna do?
I was just fucking around, man.
But and again, like I don't begrudge him his success. I don't. And again, it takes dedication just to maintain that insane physique. Like that's a crazy physique you don't see. He's fucking ginormous. But he's just a terrible actor. And I don't like it. It made me. I thought of it because of Lizzo, and whereas one of those things like, oh, they're using her popularity to put her in the show because they like her, but she has no skills to be in this show, and that's how I feel about The Rock. He keeps succeeding, and I'm just like, why?
Can we talk about hot water pipes now? We spent way too much time on that.
This is much more interesting, I promise you.
No. I'd rather talk.
All right.
Well, everybody's got to start acting somewhere.
But I just basically we ended up where I thought, which is you guys have no idea either. Is basically what I'm hearing. We have no idea why The Rock is popular.
No, we don't. Well, yeah, it's from.
I know why he's popular.
It's from his wrestling days, and it just carried over, and people like him.
That was my
he is a likable guy.
Theory.
He's
a likable.
He's like
person.
Trump.
Well,
a lot of
that's not
people like him.
likable.
A
Yeah,
lot of people like Trump,
I think that's
especially
the
on The
only
Apprentice.
similarity there.
I mean,
All right.
did anybody hate Trump?
I've hated Trump since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
dude's an
Okay,
I literally,
asshole.
I
I
never.
first heard of him back in the '80s, and he freaked me out just for the way he looked back then. He was creepy and weird, and he reeked. As a kid in the '80s, I was like, that's not a good person. The way he was in interviews, he was always cocky and arrogant, but you could tell he was also stupid. It all came through. As a child, I noticed this. That's why it always baffled me that anybody would listen to anything this dude had to say.
Well, it baffled me that people listened to him as he tried to be a leader, but like I never really followed him that much to dislike.
No, I didn't follow him. I saw him on some like Entertainment Tonight or some news bit. The first time I ever heard of Donald Trump, I'll never forget, was they were like, Donald Trump files for bankruptcy for the 6th time. And the reason that stayed in my head is not because of Donald Trump, it's because I didn't know what bankruptcy was. So when I heard that term, I was blown away that you could do it more than once. To me, bankruptcy meant, now you're poor forever, right? Because I was a kid. It was like 11 years old or whatever. I didn't know what it meant. So I was like, 6 times? How does that happen? And that was always linked. Bankruptcy, Donald Trump, and then interviews with him and where he's just arrogant and creepy looking. Just never liked the dude.
Yeah, but popularity does go a long way. You know, it can get you places you didn't think you could get to. And I just got a cramp in my leg. Holy fuck. Oh!
I'm not laughing. That shit hurts.
Oh, Jesus.
You know who doesn't get cramps in their legs? The Rock.
Oh, yeah. That motherfucker, he stretches.
All right. Next on my agenda, and we can keep this short. There is a movie coming out that you guys are probably interested in, and I'm kind of fascinated by the entire concept.
There's a movie coming Scorpion out called King 2?
Probably.
I think they actually did one of those.
Oh, that's already out? Oh shit.
It was made for TV or for video.
Oh, okay.
There's a movie coming out called Air. It is about Nike and Michael Jordan and Nike Air Jordans.
Oh,
and
Is that the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck one?
Yeah, it's the Michael Jordan movie with no Michael Jordan.
It's Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and it's about this little company in the 80s called Nike who is struggling and nobody had ever heard of them until Matt Damon comes in and says, I got a guy. We can maybe finally be a popular shoe company. Does anybody else have a problem with this setup that was alive during the 80s? Anyone at all besides me? I'll answer that. Yes, I have a problem with it because Nike was always the shoe to have. You know how I know this? Because I was very poor and I wanted Nikes and I got made fun of for not having Nikes. So I would do everything to get my mom to get me Nikes because Nike was fucking huge. They didn't have to be Jordans. This was pre-Jordan. Nike was not some struggling shoe. The way they positioned Nike in this trailer blew my mind. I watched it twice in a row because are they insinuating that Nike was struggling in 1983?
I think
they were not.
I think there was more competition back then.
So that's
Adidas.
So Nike had 60% of the market, and then there was Adidas, Puma,
Converse,
Kangaroos,
British Knights. You had these other companies.
Vans. So Nike had 60%. Everybody else split that 30%. Then once Jordan made it popular, then Nike got 95%.
Right.
And then Puma went out of business and Kangaroos disappeared because nobody wanted a pouch in their shoe.
Plus the Just Do It slogan.
That was later in the 80s, but that cemented them too. But again, I remember first grade wanting Nikes, not knowing who Michael Jordan was. I don't think Michael Jordan was around at that point. He was probably well known, but I didn't have TV. But
wait, what?
Nikes were like $25 back then, dude.
They were cheap. Well, no, but I still remember like even the ones I wanted were like $50.
Really?
When my mom finally got them for me, she actually every school year she would get me Nikes because they actually did last longer than my Pickway shoes. So she didn't have to buy them as often. She could buy one pair of shoes, even though they looked like shit and were cracked and beat up by the end of the school year. They would basically last for the school year.
Man, I had a pair of Adidas Sambas, and I thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the planet.
Well, in like fourth grade, that's what I switched over to.
Shoe though,
I love Samba. There was a kid who would wear Sambas, and I ended up wearing Sambas for years. Samba Classics, the indoor soccer shoes. But Nikes were very important for a while. And so, but the positioning in this trailer, though, of Nike being this underdog, come from behind story, maybe when they first came out, but in 1983, bullshit. I just want to tell anybody who wasn't there that is complete and utter bullshit. Nike was already dominating the sneaker market and the basketball shoe market.
It was based on a true story.
But that element of it just made my eyes roll back in my head 3 times.
The truth of that trailer is Nike is a shoe company, and that's based upon that truth.
Yeah. All right. So, did anybody read this week's comic, The Mask?
Yeah.
We all did. You stop asking us. Better. We always read it.
I never know. I don't even read everything sometimes. So
I like the movie better.
You like the movie better? Okay. So this was created by John Arcudi and Doug Mahnke. Did a comic for Dark Horse called The Mask. Boy. If you're familiar with the 1990 whatever Jim Carrey movie, 94, 96, whenever it came out, there's some stuff in there that is faithful to the comic, but as you guys probably found out, most of it is not.
This is what I wanted to talk about, because you've been talking to our audience since the beginning of this podcast of how they they take things from the comics and they put them in movies, but they miss the whole point of the comic. They put the wrong fucking things in the movie that don't let us know anything really about the comic. Like this was complete. This was so much darker in the fucking movie. I'm like, the movie, it's a comedy. It's supposed to be a fucking dark comedy. And then the movie was just a comedy, dude.
No, they PG-13'd it, man. They had to dumb it down so it would appeal to a bigger audience. I get it.
I know, but like, dude, it reminded me of Milk and Cheese. Like reading Milk and Cheese when we read Milk and Cheese, I was like, this is like Milk and Cheese, and I loved it. But then,
you liked it?
Yeah, I love the comic. Like you like the movie better. I like the comic better.
See, I like the movie better, but I appreciate the creativity that went into this comic. You know, because otherwise the movie wouldn't have been made. But I mean, I like the concept. I like the artwork was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't nothing spectacular, but the whole idea, I think, is pretty cool for somebody to come up with.
So what the movie got right, if you're familiar, again, Jim Carrey, a guy named Stanley discovers this mask. In the comic, he buys it for his girlfriend because she collects artifacts of that nature, and so you get some elements. You get the mechanics, the shady mechanics who fuck over Stanley in the movie, and
tell me you wouldn't rather have seen the comic version on the big screen.
Oh my god! So they imply that Jim Carrey shoves a transmission, not a transmission, but a muffler, I think, up the mechanic's ass or whatever. However,
the muffler tailpipe that comes off the muffler.
Right.
So it's much smaller than the muffler.
The actual like muffler catalytic converter whole thing is just like somehow shoved into this guy's head and neck in the comic book. Very funny yet disturbing.
Dude, it's disturbing as fuck. It looked like when a python just ate like a boar, you know? But you could like how the python's mouth is still open and you could see the boar struggling. That's what it looked like. You could see the muffler coming out of this guy's mouth. It was so disturbing. I was like, ooh, that guy, how is he still alive?
And also the Stanley character, Stanley Ipkiss, as he's known in the movie, he's like a lovable loser in the movie. In the comic book, this guy is an asshole loser, basically. He's just a douchebag. He's shitty to his girlfriend even before he gets the mask. Then when he gets the mask, he becomes physically violent with his girlfriend, goes on a rampage. So they allude to this in the movie with the mechanics and the gangs and stuff. And there is some of the silliness is absolutely there in the comic book, but it's coupled with some pretty violent, and they show a lot of the violence, a lot of blood and gore. So to me, that makes the over the top silliness actually funny, whereas in the Mask movie, it's not very funny. It's very campy and corny.
Somebody stop me!
Yeah, but when you couple it with, and then the Mask gets shot in the chest, and you see his ribs and his heart and his intestines. To me, then that's funny. If he's making jokes about this stuff while he's also putting holes in people, chopping people up with battle axes,
shooting the hell
shooting
out of
people,
some cops,
blowing away an entire police squad.
I mean, just obliterated them. I mean, I can see why they didn't put that in the movie. I get it. And yeah, there's the scene where he beats and kills the teacher in front of a bunch of kids in the classroom. And then they show one of the kids and he's just got a tear coming down his eye. I'm like, God damn, this is fucked up. This is nothing. This is nothing like the movie.
And you like it?
Then
I did.
So at the end of the movie,
what's that say about you?
I don't know.
He gets the girl and everything's great. However, at the end, not even the end of this comic, like at the midpoint of this comic, his girlfriend figures out that he is, they call him Big Head in the comic. Big Head is going her out on these rampages, killing gangbangers, killing cops, and they know him as Big Head. She figures out her boyfriend is Big Head, and she fucking kills him.
With the mask.
She kills Stanley at the end. And you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And then it carries on with Kellaway. Kellaway,
detective.
Yeah, Detective Kellaway is also in the movie, played by some nobody, some kind of goofy short guy in the movie, if I remember correctly. Kellaway gets the mask, starts wearing it. He goes on his own kind of vigilante thing. He's not killing cops, but he's cleaning up all the scum that basically slipped through the cracks of the justice system. When
he's more of a vigilante type instead of just a mass murderer, like Stanley was.
He's still killing people, but it's not like he's killing teachers.
He's not killing the teacher that he
or cops.
But I do love that Stanley is portrayed not as a hero. You know, he's nothing he does is heroic. Basically, he's just he's just an asshole, and he puts the mask on. It amplifies who he is. And so he goes out and kills whoever he feels like has wronged him.
Yeah.
Kellaway has a little bit more of a sense of justice. But it's when I first read this. So before the movie was announced, I was aware of this character. I hadn't really read the character, but I knew from the descriptions I read in like Wizard magazine and Previews magazine, I was aware that this was a dark comic with a disturbed character, and the Big Head, the mask, whatever you want to call him, looks creepy. Like they always in the movie when he's doing the big toothy grin, he just looks silly. When he's doing the big toothy grin on the covers of these comics, you could tell there's some malevolence in that face. It's not. He's not smiling like a cartoon character. He's smiling like he's going to chop you up with an axe in front of your classroom. And so I again hadn't really read anything. But I knew this comic was real violent, just from the little bit, some panels and previews and stuff I'd seen. Saw the movie in theaters, and this was Jim Carrey at the peak of his fame, where he's putting out like 3 movies a year, getting $20 million a movie. Yeah. Dumb and Dumber, all that kind of stuff was coming out. And so the movie did gangbusters. I was not heavily invested in the property, but I was disappointed because I did know, I was like, this was supposed to be violent. Like I hadn't read it, so I couldn't, come at it as a true hardcore fan or anything, but I knew enough about it to say, wow, they really sanitized this and dumbed it down to bring in kids and all that kind of stuff. And that's all the advertising was. I would love to see an adaptation truer to the comic as a TV series or something. I know they've adapted much more violent stuff since then, like Kick-Ass and Happy and comics like that. So there's no reason they couldn't revisit The Mask and have the insane violence to go along with the insane behavior.
Reading the comic, I was so shocked when they killed Stanley Ipkiss, Yeah. I'm like, we're in the 3rd issue. And like, all I know is the movie, So I just figured he was the main character throughout the comics. That didn't last long. That was a nice little twist there for me.
Yeah, I attempted to mislead you last week by saying that the comic was a little different, and I was hoping that you would be taken by surprise.
It was a complete shock. Yeah, good job.
So Rob is in the movie column. Steve is in the comic column. I am in the comic column.
I think 2.
You give the comic a 2, Steve?
But I've seen the movie. Maybe I would have liked it.
I saw the movie first. I just had a little bit of knowledge of the character
I had no
beforehand.
knowledge.
Yeah, three for the comic. It was better.
I would give it a 3 as well. I thought some parts of it kind of dragged story wise a little bit,
Big time.
but
a lot of
overall
unnecessary thought bubbles too. I was like, we kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's kind of a relic of that era,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. But the artwork is fantastic in my opinion. The majority of the writing, I think, I enjoyed a lot. The insanity of this character, and then the violence, and then the way the violence is portrayed, I thought was great too. Again, you get some pretty visceral, violent drawings, and it's fun to see if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're not into blood and gore,
it's amazing.
Rob is not.
It's amazing to see how, like in the comic, the drawing looks like he did in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
But in the comic, just the way he grins or smiles looks completely, it looks really demented, you know?
Yes.
And then in the movie, it looks more goofy, you know?
Yes.
But man, just some of the drawings of some of the
in
panels,
the movie,
you know, that movie Smile that came out where all the smiles are fucked up. It reminds me of shit like that.
In the movie, his smile is like mischievous, and like Steve said, in the comic, it's demented, it's disturbing, it's off-putting, but it's still the big teeth, the green head. But the way the eyebrows kind of move, it makes a big difference. Obviously, those eyebrows can or brow bones, I should say. I don't think he actually has eyebrows, but makes a big difference in what he's done or what he's about to do.
Yeah, 100% complete difference between viewing the movie and reading the comic. It was a complete different experience for both of us, and I'm like,
so Steve, I have to ask you, before you went into reading this, did you think it was going to be closer to the movie? Like, did you have any preconceived notions about it?
Yeah, I've talked to you, and I remember you saying it was more intense. I just didn't know how much more. And I thought there'd be like more lines taken from this comic, like one-liners, and put in the movie, and there were zero that I can remember. That was all Jim Carrey just making up shit. So, it was, like I said, it was a weird experience, complete different experience for me. Like I was totally shocked, but I liked it. Like Rob's like, you like that shit? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that says about me. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It just caught my attention. I was never bored. I was like, what the hell is he going to do next? And then it ends with him, not Stanley Ipkiss, but the lieutenant guy. What's his name? Kellaway. The first series ends with him like burying it in concrete, like he's trying to get rid of it because this mask is fucking everything up. And
he almost killed one of his cop friends under the influence of the mask, and that finally got him to really put it somewhere.
He stuck a fucking stick of dynamite in his mouth and lit it. Right. Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is different from the movie. And the fucking wick was almost gone too. And I was like, oh no, he's not going to do it. So he realized that, I guess that took him out of the mask, and he tried to bury it in concrete. That was the last we saw.
I do love a good revenge tale, which is kind of the Stanley Ipkiss thing, but obviously it goes off the rails, and becomes more than revenge. He's just taken out all his aggression on society at that point. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, they don't paint him as a hero at all, and he's obviously a hero in the movie. And I give it 3 stars. If you like violence and you like the Mask movie, this is perfect. This is a good combination of those two things.
I didn't hate the Mask movie. I mean,
I didn't hate it either. I have it on Blu-ray.
I've watched it more than once. That was probably my 4th or 5th time watching it.
Yeah,
because I watched it right before this.
I don't hate it. I do like Jim Carrey. No apologies about that. I like what he brought to the character. I would have liked to have seen him go in a darker direction, but that wasn't up to him. It was cool, an independent comic book was on the big screen in, the mid 90s or whatever. So that's cool in and of itself. So.
Yeah. Lots of movies based on comics. I don't know if you know that.
All right. So I got one more thing.
After doing this podcast with you.
So I read a snippet of a Christopher Nolan interview, and he was talking about The Dark Knight Rises, and now he wanted it, obviously to be a good movie. And he said that something along the lines of you don't see. He said it's something like typically the third movie in a series is never good, and the only exception he offered was Rocky 3. He said except for maybe Rocky 3. So then that got me thinking, what other third movies in a series are decent? And I'll give you my list.
Return of the Jedi.
One.
Yeah,
Return of the Jedi is on the list.
That would be.
But again, I don't know if that counts. Just because I don't know. I guess it counts. Return of the King would be another one.
Is the Last Crusade on yours?
Last Crusade. That's another standout. Mission Impossible 3. I thought, again, especially coming back from the second one.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I thought the third one was the best one. With the 3 movies that were out, the third one blew me away the most. And I love the first one.
That was probably the biggest improvement.
Yeah.
That third one is so good.
Die Hard 3 is decent.
That was the last one on my list. I have Die Hard with a Vengeance. Well, not the last one, and then I have Dark Knight Rises, which is the movie that he was talking about at the time. I really like Dark Knight Rises. And Die Hard with a Vengeance.
It was right. The third movie usually is the best.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you think about third movies, when you think about Alien 3 or Godfather 3, I've never even seen Godfather 3, but it has a reputation as being
good.
Horrible.
Nobody liked Godfather 3. I didn't think it was as bad as everybody said it was.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad.
What else is out there? But
dude, remember in Die Hard 3, like we were trying to figure out that riddle with the water or whatever.
Dude, I still that still pops in my head from time to time, and I still have to figure it out every time. I don't know why. It's some weird obsessive compulsive thing where I'm like, how did they do it with the water in the gallons? And then I figure it out, and it still takes me far too long, even though I know how they figured it out.
I remember we would sit there and be like, wait a minute, does this actually work? How did he figure that out on the fly? He'd be dead.
2 idiots trying to figure out a math puzzle. With no drugs involved. And we would just sit there and be like, how did he do that? And I'm terrible at math. That is always my worst subject. But yeah, I do know how he did it. Can I explain it to you right now? No, I'd have to walk through all the steps.
No,
I'd give you 3 incorrect scenarios before I was like, okay, this is how he did it. Dick the one, you pour it. Okay, anyway, we're not going to do that.
Sounds like hot water pipes is part of it.
Dude, did you guys watch? So Matt, I put on Speed the other night. I was going through Steve's Apple movies since you gave me your Apple login. So I was like, what movies have you purchased that are on here that I don't have? And you have some really weird purchases. I'm like, why did you buy Captain Phillips? Like, who's gonna watch that more than once? Anyway.
Oh God, you know me. I buy everything.
You do. It's very strange to me.
And anyway, that movie came out back in the time when I was still buying everything. I've really slowed down lately,
but you had Speed, and it was in 4K. I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen this in 20 some years. Let's watch Speed. Maggie used to love Speed. She apparently, like when she was a kid, she would watch it all the time. So we're watching Speed, and I sent you guys this clip. Shot. I sent you guys this clip, I think, of when there's a point where Keanu Reeves is under the bus, he's on like one of those like mechanic rolly things, whatever. What are those called, Rob? Like you lay down on them.
The roller pads.
Mechanic.
Anyway, and so he's going, 55 miles an hour, and then he gets detached, and he ends up rolling over some stuff. And there's just this one reaction shot that's so realistic and believable. And it cracked me up because you just don't see this from your action star. And I'll mimic it on the YouTube channel here. But basically, he's on this thing that they roll under your, that mechanics use to roll under your car. But he's, going 50 miles an hour, and he hits like this shredded tire. So he's, almost goes under, one of the tires on the bus.
I don't think you have to explain it. Everyone on the planet knows.
I don't know. I'm just. Yeah. Well, there's a quick clip. It's a split second where his hands are by his face, and he's flapping them around, and he goes, "Ah!" And it's so because that's what you would be doing if that was happening. But it was just so inconsistent with everything else we had seen from his character. But like he's freaking out, and it's totally believable. And we watched it probably 6 times in a row. Me and Maggie were just dying laughing. And we got done watching that. And she's like, let's watch more 90s action movies. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. So I narrowed it down I gave her 2 options. Well, one, I was like, all right, well, I started talking about the Die Hard as a genre. Die Hard on a bus is what Speed is. Under Siege is Die Hard on an aircraft carrier. Sudden Death is Die Hard in a hockey arena, so on and so forth. Passenger 57, Die Hard on an airplane, whatever. So I was like, do you want to stick with that? And I was like, okay, let's watch Cliffhanger, Die Hard on a mountain, right? She had never seen Cliffhanger. And then the other one
oh my God. She never saw it?
She still has never seen it, because the other one I offered her was The Rock, which is like the one Michael Bay movie I genuinely like before he forgot that you're supposed to have character and story in your movies.
And not starring The Rock.
Not The Rock, not starring The Rock. Starring Nicolas Cage in a fantastic performance, and James Bond coming back out of retirement to help Nicolas Cage in this movie. Because let's face it, he's playing James Bond, right? It's like he got thrown in prison over microfilm. He knows how to he's James Bond. That was the whole point of casting him, right? This is James Bond. It's a brilliant idea. Ed Harris is in it, and it's a solid movie. It's got good action. It does have some ridiculous shots that Michael Bay used to do all the time, with the cameras like underneath somebody and slowly rotates around them to get their reaction, which he did in like Bad Boys and stuff. But for the most part, it's a solid action movie. So we watched that instead. And that was the end of our 90s movie fest, because then she got a migraine from all the... Well, she got a migraine from all the explosions and bright lights and stuff. So.
You gotta watch Cliffhanger.
Bright light.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what happens in the beginning of Cliffhanger?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We'll get to it. We will get to it. Trust me. Because I watched it not too long ago, and that's one reason we didn't watch it, because I've seen it in the past like 6 months or so. Because I just rewatched it. Again, fucking Sylvester Stallone, man. Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, all these great movies. Nobody's revisiting The Rundown. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have this week.
Oh, well, what are we doing?
What are we watching?
All right, so I actually have two options here.
I thought we were watching the Cliffhanger or The Rock.
No,
you got me all excited.
Neither. No, I just wanted to talk about that scene from Speed. Watch that scene. It's fucking hilarious.
I thought you were leading up to something.
Right? That's
all
right.
right.
I thought that was all.
Sean's like, and good night.
No, it was a terrible segue. Sorry about that. Misdirection. All right, so my first pick, and this is in my Voodoo account, since I've been on such a Halo kick recently, and the Halo TV series was so awful. There was an animated adaptation of a Halo novel. It's called Halo: The Fall of Reach. It's a little over an hour long. The animation's a little weird. I don't know why they chose the animation style, but I think the story holds up all the same. That's what I would like to watch. I would like you guys to watch, because I would like your opinions about it, and I would like to discuss it as well, in light of how awful the Halo TV series is.
Steve chooses the next film.
The other one,
I'm okay with this one, because that'll force me to finish the Halo series that I started
you still
and
won't
never finished.
You'll be that 30.
All right, we'll just do that, and we'll save the other one. The other one we'll get to eventually.
You'll be that. No, I want to know what the other one is.
That'll cost you $5. You have to Venmo me.
No,
yeah,
seriously, tell us what the other one is. I don't like cliffhangers.
The other one is Cliffhanger.
The other one is Cliffhanger.
No, seriously, what is it?
There's your lack of cliffhanger.
I can't go all day without knowing.
Well, you know what? Funnily, I'll tell you this about it. I'm not going to say what movie it is. It is a Sylvester Stallone movie, though. But it is not Cliffhanger. But we'll get to it. We'll do it. We'll do it next time.
Rocky 4. Oh, please let it be Rocky 4.
Over the top.
I watched the director's cut of Rocky 4 not too long ago.
What was the Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton movie? What was that?
Diamond something. I forget what it was.
Yeah, she was
Something
like
to do with diamonds.
she was
Pokemon
like
Brilliant Diamond.
in charge of the brothel or something. Or
no, that was Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
no, oh yeah. Well, what was she?
But man, Rhinestone Cowboy, maybe? I don't know.
No,
like a rhinestone cowboy.
What was that movie?
You have the internet at your fingertips.
God, Stallone did a lot of films.
Yeah, it was called Rhinestone. That was the name.
Rhinestone. Yeah, that was it. You're
I
right.
literally just said Rhinestone Cowboy.
Yeah,
Nobody
well, you said
picked up
Rhinestone Cowboy. You didn't say.
Yeah, completely different.
Totally different.
You know why I didn't pick up on it? Because I didn't know either of those existed.
Dude, you know how excited I was a kid to find out there was a Dolly Parton movie called Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and then to find out as a kid that it was rated PG or something. I was like, God damn it!
It was Rhinestone.
All right, so Halo Fall Reach is in my Vudu account. I believe it is also in my Amazon. If you have my Comixology password, you can watch it that way if that's easier. I don't know it's available anywhere else. Yeah, it's only 65 minutes.
You said it was animated, just weird animation, or it's a motion comic?
It's not a motion comic.
Oh,
it's just,
thank God. I can't do that. I cannot do that.
Yeah, it's not a motion. It's to me, the animation style is just a little, it looks, for something Microsoft paid for, it's like, really, this is all you were willing to pony up for? It's a little stilted, and also the look of it's a little generic, and I shouldn't say generic. It's CG, but it looks like low budget CGI, even though it came out in like 2015. But it was just a supplemental thing that came with one of the Halo games. It wasn't ever really released anywhere or meant for like wide release. But I really liked it because I read all the novels. Halo was the first video game where I actually went and dipped into the other stuff that went with the video game, the novels. It's the first game I bought a soundtrack of because I like the music so much. So it has a special place in my heart. And the Fall of Reach was the first video game novel I ever read. And it was back in like 2001, 2002. And I loved it. I was like, wow, I didn't know they could make good books based on video games. And then they adapted that. Now it's truncated because, again, it's only 65 minutes. So it could have been longer. But you could see, I think you could see the bones of what could be a really good Halo movie / TV show in this 65-minute animation, promotional animation.
Sure.
I guess I need to finish the Halo then.
So I'm surprised you never finished any of the Halos.
He's the 63% that didn't finish Halo.
Halo 3 ODST literally reunites. It's you have a squad of ODSTs. It's you and 4 other guys. 3 of the people, one of them is Nathan Fillion, one of them is Adam Baldwin, and one of them is Alan Tudyk. Like
in this awesome. Cartoon?
No, it's a video game. Alan 3.
Oh, all 3 of those guys are in the video game?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 4th one is Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica. So you get like all these iconic actors from these shows into Halo 3 ODST, and it's just a fun game, but you get that dynamic too.
You guys ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
Not yet. I do want it. It's
Jesus
on
Christ,
my list.
that is such a good show.
Oh, really? You've never seen that? Holy shit, dude.
No.
That was a good show.
Yeah, I've not seen it. I will one day. I've been interested in it, playing Halo. It seems.
Well, maybe one summer Steve will watch 30 Rock and you'll watch Battlestar Galactica.
It's on my list. It's definitely on my list.
Yeah.
So
it's on the list.
Frack you.
No. But
Steve got it.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
No, I've heard of that. I've heard of the frack thing, but I also, to me, that reminds me more of Lobo, but because that came first.
Oh, did he say frack you?
I think he said frag a lot, but it was frag, not frack. Same. It just makes me think of Lobo. Yeah, Katie Sackhoff was in that, right? Starbuck.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan. And that's one of the things where they made it a woman's role and improved on it.
Yeah.
I think they should.
That says a lot about her.
I think in one of the opening scenes, there's there's a giant window in the background, and I think you see the Millennium Falcon fly in or something like that.
That could be.
If I remember right, I don't know. It's me. I just make up shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. That may or
I
may
thought
not
that was
be true.
Serenity.
Right?
Maybe it was. I know Serenity flew in there in somebody's show too. I don't know. Maybe it was Serenity.
A lot of nods.
All right, we'll be back next week checking out Halo Fall of Reach. Check out the Mask comic book. And
don't
thanks for listening.
Tweet Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook Steve.
Twitter, Steve
else?
Reads 3. Instagram, Steve Reads a Comic with underscores in the middle, and then Facebook is just Steve Reads. I like how I have all 3 different ones. That's not confusing at all.
Why doesn't anybody follow you?
I don't know Steve. Why. Like you guys put me in charge of this. Like I'm not good, so I'm sorry. I don't.
Did you
get
the blue? Did you get blue check marked?
I'm not paying.
Did you pay your $8?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Dude,
important.
What the hell?
I'm not important enough.
How you take a multi-billion or $1 million company and there's just shit on it because you have so
multi-billion.
much money.
You pay billions for it.
You have so much money, you buy it and then just ruin it.
Because he's not good at business.
Unbelievable.
He's not actually good at anything. He was just born rich. It turns out if you just born with a lot of money, even if you fuck up a lot, you still have enough money to be. Eventually, you'll just be successful by sheer fucking Russian roulette. You will get there because one of your fucking things actually has a bullet that lands. One of your shit ideas.
This is the same guy that like launches satellite or like spaceships every day. It's the same guy that owns that company. It's just incredible.
Well, he funds it. That's all he does. He's not.
Well, that's
he didn't even create Tesla. He bought it. So
I feel like these funds could be used elsewhere.
All right, we're out.
We're out.